Hello everyone! Welcome back to another 2v2 battle. This is going to be orcs, and dwarves. This is a savage orc build that has been suggested, so thank you again for your suggestions. This is going to be consisting of 3 savage orcs. We have a total of 4 savage orc biggins, 2 savage orc arrow boys, 1 giant, a orc shaman, a generic orc war boss, but like just everything is on him. He has, I wish you could see the his character portrait, because oh look, it's looking at us. It's looking at us. Hello, wyvern. Hello. Hello. It's so weird how the head will move in like real time, but everything else is slowed down right now. That's so weird. But yeah, he has like all his abilities. He has a couple potions. I'll cover that at the end of the battle. And we also have 2 savage orc boar boys. My ally has a doomdiver catapult, 3 orc biggins, and a Ragnarok spider, a Grimgor ironhide, night goblin shaman, black orc, 3 goblin archers, and 2 orc boar boy biggins. The enemy black orc, or enemy orc, took a bunch of black orcs, a whole line of them, 1 giant and a night goblin shaman on a wolf. Then the dwarf player brought 3 miners with blasting charges, 2 quarrelers, 2 thunderers, 2 thanes, a Ungrim Iron Fist, a rune smith, and then 4 longbeards with great weapons, and then a group of slayers. My army does not consist of too much armor piercing. The only ones I have is going to be the giant, my wyvern, and then the savage orc boar boys. They're the only armor piercing I have, and I'm facing against a dwarf player and an orc player who brought nothing but armor, and then a giant. So I'm like, oh, well, this is great. Let's see how this goes. So I kind of hesitate here, because I was thinking maybe we let the Doomdiver just do its thing, because neither group has artillery at all, which is really weird to see a dwarf player with no artillery. So we kind of control the flow of the battle, but then I see my allies still moving out, so I'm like, you know what, okay, that's fine, let's just move out. So we're going to be moving up very slowly as the Doomdivers are going to be getting their hits in. I think they're targeting black orcs right now. Now it looked like the enemies were going to march forward, but then decided against it when they saw that we were marching forward. They have nothing to lose by marching forward, really. They don't really have any kind of advantage. They're not sitting like on a hill. Although their Night Goblin Shaman is just kind of tucked in here. Hello. Little Wolf Rider. So, seeing that the dwarves were all focused on our left side, and this long line of black orcs is, well, as it is, I am going to march closer to our ally. I want to try and knock out their flank of black orcs and not deal with the dwarves for as long as possible, because they are not a maneuverable force. They're just a bunch of slow dwarves. Come on, Doomdivers. But yeah, this wyvern is like over 2,000 gold. It is, man. I put everything into this war boss. Knowing that we would need some kind of armor piercing in our army, that's why I kind of focused on him. Look at that Thane. You can see the black orcs starting to withdraw into the woods. They're trying to adapt to our formation of being heavily on the right side. Kinda. The Night Goblin Shaman casts a magic missile into the Ragnarok, but it does not do that much. And then they're going to go back into the woods. I'm going to send our orc war boss here, Garish, into the forest. I want to try to catch the Shaman, because I know I could kill him pretty quickly. We have self-damaging buffs, we have potions that increase weapon damage and healing, we have his Wah skill, his stand your ground skill, like I said, he has everything. But the enemy player knows exactly what I'm doing, and the wolf is faster. I popped my speed buff, but it's not going to be enough to catch him. Plus, he's leading me right into some thunderers, so I'm like, never mind. Never mind. You can see the dwarf player is also now reacting to our movements and trying to get over on our left flank. I'm just going to kind of withdraw and keep with our ally. And I want to try and catch these orcs over here. I'm pulling our savage orc boar boys over on the right flank because they do also have armor piercing. I'm keeping Garish above these troops just so we have an eyesight. Curse of the Big Bad Moon going down on him. They'll do some damage, but the enemy isn't clumped up enough to really maximize the potential there. And you can see dwarves continue to move around to our left flank, and we are just going to deny them by moving over here. Biggins are going into the forest to try and engage with the black orcs. I'm going to lead my support, but I'm waiting for them to engage before we send in Garish alone. Boar boys are wrapping around the side, along with my allies, boar boys, and their Ragnarok spider. If you see a black orc, it's probably a enemy. So because I don't have alliance coloring turned on right now. But black orcs for the most part are the enemy. I'm buffing our ally here with a here we go. And we also have a wall going down. Oh my god. What is their melee attack at right now? 155. And stand your ground. So we have dropped all of these buffs. That's insane. A couple of those are from Grimgore, and then I casted the here we go, which was not needed, but I didn't know that they had here the wall going down. I'm going to pull back a little bit to try and just not engage for as long as possible, because now we have these black orcs isolated on this hill, and we want to shut them down. Garish is over here on the extreme flank doing what he can to help out the biggins and our savage orc boar boys who went in. Oh! How could I forget? How silly of me. Black orcs are pretty tough, but there's a lot of orcs for them to fight, including 2 leaders. Here comes the enemy giant into the fray. And again, you can see we are just currently withdrawing and trying to do as much damage to this army as possible with our arrows. The Night Goblin Shaman wrapped around the battlefield to try and get to the Doom Diver Catapult. I'm going to now engage this group of black orcs over here while we shoot them with our arrows. Meanwhile, the black orcs that are in the forest have been mostly dealt with right now, and we are pushing our cav around to assault the flanks. Dwarf player moving in behind the black orcs. And so we're going to be engaging here shortly. I'm going to try and get our charges off. I think it's last second. There we go. But we do get the charges off. I'm going to be keeping our giant in reserves right now, along with a lot of our savage orc biggins. These are just our normal savage orcs taking the brunt. And I'm going to continue to try and wrap around this flank of the dwarves. The Ragnarok on giant action. The Ragnarok is ours. That's the enemy giant. Now the biggins are coming out of the forest. And yeah, you can see these black orcs have now been dealt with. And we are just in an engagement against these black orcs, and the dwarves are coming around as well. But I have 4 savage orc biggins in reserve. Over here, we're casting a here we go, I think. Yep. So it's going to be buffing everybody around here as we engage with this group of miners and continue this group of black orcs. So we're going to be getting a lot of hits in. You can see some of the black orcs have been turned away. Garish is now in the black orc line trying to do what he can with all of his armor-piercing damage. Our giant is still being held in reserves. I want to take out these black orcs without his help, and I want to save him for the dwarf player specifically. Our savage orcs are doing a pretty good job right now. Over here, my ally is also fighting against the dwarves and the black orcs. Some slayers are getting into our boar boys, which is unfortunate. But we are also kind of getting into some of their thunderers over here with our savage orcs, which is a good thing. Trying to break them as much as we can. My other group of savage orc boar boys got caught by these longbeards, and I did not notice immediately. But our engagement against the front line of black orcs is going really well with the buffs going from our leader. I just dropped a wah. And then, of course, our caster assisted us greatly with the here we go, so we got a lot of hits in. And so this front line of black orcs is now mostly destroyed. We still have a bunch of arrows pouring down, and this is why I'm going to be sending in my giant to deal with the dwarven player and assist our ally. You can see Grimgore fighting against these longbeards with great weapons. Even though great weapons are armor-piercing, it's Grimgore. Like, he's the tough mother orker, you know what I'm saying? Ooh. And then here comes our giant. We do have an enemy Thane deep in our lines, but that's okay. Over here, I'm going to be chasing off another Thane, and I'm trying to kill him really quickly with our hero, but these Thanes, man, they are pretty tough. So it's going to take a while to deal damage to him. But meanwhile, we are now crushing the Dwarven front line and a mix of Thunderers with our Savage Orcs and Orc Boar Boys. Our Doom Tower Catapult still firing, even though the enemy Shaman has been in there for a long time. Let's just kind of slow it down here so you can see the current status. We have a group of Black Orcs that came back from routing, but I think my ally sends maybe the Night Goblin Shaman and then like one other unit to go deal with them, I believe. I'm about to send my Giant, but I'm going to send him back. We dropped another Here We Go in this main engagement over here, so we're going to be fighting against the Runesmith? No, that's Ungrim, actually. Ungrim Iron Fist, and then off on the side, we have the Runesmith, we have their Longbeards and Thunderers over here. They did rout the Ragnarok, and what else is going on? We're just currently chasing the Thane. I popped one of my healing potions here, that's why we're back up to full, and just going to fight the Thane. And that is the current landscape of the battle as we're trying to crush these Dwarven flank over here. We're going to sandwich these Longbeards in between two Savage Orcs, because that's how we roll. Over here, we got a Rune of Wrath and Ruin being dropped from the Rune Priest, and other buffs are going down from the Rune Smith, not Priest, Rune Smith. Trying to keep their dwarves alive as long as possible. Thunderers are now free to fire on our hero out there who's taking out the Thane. I'm sending my Giant to try and finish off the enemy Giant at this point. Meanwhile, the Savage Orcs still doing some damage to this one Thane, and over here we got, yeah, the Night Goblin Shaman is holding off those Black Orcs. Goblin Archers are pulling out away from Ungrim, which is probably a good call. And this sandwich that we pulled on the Longbeards destroyed them just so quickly. So quickly. But we're sending in our Orc Shaman as well, because now we're out of Winds of Magic, so I'm going to send him into combat. Over here, the Runesmith is in a very good position to keep their army buffed. It's very nice placement there. Not sure what happened here. These Giants decided to take a break, I guess. Whoops. I don't know what the heck happened there. But now we are continuing to push against the Dwarven line. We have a mix of Slayers and Longbeards over here. The Orc Biggins and Black Orcs doing what they can. And I believe... There you are. There is Grimgor. He's over there. Just a massive infantry fight right now. With the Goblin arrows and the Savage Orc arrows pouring in. Runesmith casting some more spells to buff their army around them. At this point, look how long it's taken to get the Thane to this point. And, like, we have insane armor-piercing damage, too. And I was casting a Wah to try and buff up our melee attack to try and get them down faster. But, man, the Thanes just did not want to break. And I'm going to be pulling back Garish to support the rest of our main infantry fight. These miners are falling apart. We do have the Goblin Great Shaman in the Savage Orc Arrow Boys, but that means basically nothing to me because it's not really a melee combatant. Or, let's see, the Archers are now pouring fire into the Quarrelers and shut them down. And here comes my Giant into the rest of these Longbeards and Slayers to support the Black Orcs and Biggins that are already here on our side. Woo! Nice disruption there. There's Grimgor, his mighty axe. Here comes Garish, coming back to the main battle line. Off here, there is not much of resistance left. Most of it is now just focused in this one little area. And you can see the Orcs are closing in. Dwarves are falling ever so slowly. I'm going to send Garish against the Runesmith, who's just kind of standing out here, and then we're going to cast the buff spells. I believe a Wah and a Stand Your Ground will be going down here shortly. There they go. So now all of these forces are increased attack and melee defense. Now we're just going to be trying to take out that Runesmith. Ungrim comes over here, though, and starts beating our ass. Because Ungrim is very scary. You can see there are not many dwarves left. And the ones that remain are now starting to rout. Only the Slayers remain in combat because they're unbreakable. Well, they tried. Now we just got Ungrim and the Runesmith fighting back to back. I had to pull out my Wyvern, Garish, because he was seriously almost about to die. I popped another potion of healing. Like, Ungrim just went boom, 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 and almost killed him. It was super quick. But the rest of the Dwarven army has shattered along with what remains of the Black Orcs. Actually, I think they was shattered a while ago. And now this is all that remains. It's just Ungrim Iron Fist. As always, this dwarf just is the hardest unit to kill. So hard to kill. But he too will fall. For the later half of the battle, the one Savage Orc Warboy that I had left was just killing units that were just coming back from routing. So I was getting charges off and rerouting them and doing some damage. That's all they were doing at the end there. Just die, Ungrim. Come on, man. There we go. Good game to my ally and my opponents. That was a fun one. That was a really fun one. Bringing those Savage Orcs. In terms of kills, oh my god, 230. Holy crap. Really well done across the board. Well, I guess except for this one that had 9. But for the most part, even my Orc Shaman got a lot of kills in that melee combat somehow. Did I cast a Foot of Gork that I missed? I did. I think I missed it. I cast a Foot of Gork on 2 Black Orcs early on in the engagement there. I missed that one. My apologies. But we did cast 1. Apparently he got some kills, and then he got some kills in melee. And wow, just so much. And then for our ally... Wow, even the Goblin Archers got some kills there. That's crazy. 79 from the Doom Diver Catapult. 100... Wow, yeah, it's just high amount of kills everywhere. For our Dwarven opponent, that thing with a high number of kills... Well, actually, he tied with Ungrim. Cool. Miners with blasting charges getting some kills. The Longbeards did what they could. Slayers got an impressive amount of kills, I think. Thunderers did okay, and the Quarrelers did okay. And then for the enemy Greenskin player, just a long line of Black Orcs. They're very tough, but we were able to isolate like 3 or 4 of them in the hills, so they got shut down, and then the remaining ones got killed by, just a combined force of Biggins, Giants, Spells, just so much. They just couldn't handle it, so they kind of melted before they can do maximum potential, but some of them got enough kills here and there. So let me show you the Orc War Boss. So we got the Wyvern, which brings him up to 470 weapon damage, 300 of that being armor piercing, 90 charge bonus, decent melee and attack stats already. His armor could be higher, but 70 is still okay. For abilities, I put all 3 of these on. So we had Stand Your Ground, we had the Wa, we had Foe Seeker. And then for the items, I gave him the Potion of Foolhardiness. We gave him the... oh, no, wait. Did I? No. I took that out and got the Potion of Strength instead. So I was popping that when I was charging heroes. And then, of course, we had the 2 healing potions. I also had the Shaman. I didn't show it in battle, but he did have the Scroll of Shielding, and he cast that on one of my Savage Orcs on our left flank that were holding off 2 Black Orcs. So they were taking 42% resistance, because Savage Orcs have a natural 20%. Yeah. So I'm assuming that stacks. So that's why they held on so long against 2 Black Orcs on our left flank, because they had 42% physical weapon resistance for most of that, well, some of that fight anyway. So that is what I brought with them. For the spells of the Shaman, I brought the Fist of Gork, which was pretty cool. I cast that on our leader. The whole point was to get our leader to be like an assassin, just going around murdering the Dwarven leaders. But wow, they can just take a beating. Even with Fist of Gork, even with all the self buffs, they just won't die. The other spells I took was the Foot of Gork and then the Here We Go, because I love these 3 spells. So hope you enjoyed the Savage Orc build. Again, leave your suggestions below in the comment sections, and you all have a good day. Take care, everybody.